5 Lost Ruins and Civilizations. Number 1. Yonaguni Monument. This strange monument can be seen from the coast of Yonaguni Island in Japan and is said to be evidence that civilized people had lived there much earlier than is currently documented. The structure is thought to have been constructed over 80,000 years ago. That's before the last ice age. The Yonaguni Monument was first found in 1987 by a diver. Since then, experts have agreed that the monument was either built by humans or made by them from a pre-existing structure which had been formed naturally. Graham Hancock, a British journalist who, along with Professor Masaki Kimura from Okinawa, went to study the monument, reported that the structure had some strange features that definitely seemed to have been made by man, such as a set of terraces and steps running up the side. The structure is aligned cardinally, facing south with an east-west line along the face of the monument. Hancock believes that the Yonaguni Monument was purposefully built as a ceremonial monument and used in religious rituals. Another professor of natural sciences, Robert M. Schoch, doesn't agree with Kimura and Hancock. He says that some of the structure seems to be man-made, but he believes it could have been formed by natural rock splits. In 1999, he said that we should be looking on the Yonaguni Monument as being something natural, whilst more evidence is gathered about it. Number 2. The Olmec. Next up, we have a super advanced civilization, the Olmecs. They come from right back before the Aztecs and the ancient Mayans even. Because of their advanced knowledge and understanding of geology, they were able to terraform areas. One area where there is evidence of them having done this is the San Lorenzo Plateau, which is thought to be amongst the most noted examples of architecture from the ancient world. The Olmecs are famed for the enormous heads they created from the rocks. The purpose of these massive sculptures, and how on earth the ancient civilization created them, remains a mystery to this day, despite researchers studying them ever since they were discovered. The Olmecs followed the same path as the Mayans and the Aztecs, and many other ancient civilizations. They just seemed to disappear from the world. It was first noticed as Christianity began. They started to leave their sites and disappear, without any obvious reasoning. The newcomers to the abandoned Olmec sites tore the sculptures down in an act of vengeance. Perhaps the Olmecs were acting rationally when they decided to get out of there. Number 3. Gobekli Tip. Gobekli Tip can be found 2,500 feet above sea level. That's right, this Neolithic sanctuary consisting of megalithic stone circles are actually at the summit of a Turkish mountain ridge. This ancient temple is thought to have been in existence longer than any other of its kind. It is a few thousand years older than the famous Stonehenge in England. Archaeologists and researchers have studied the site with early ideas, including the thought that Gobekli Tip must have been built by an ancient hunter-gatherer civilization. More recently, this theory has been dismissed by archaeologists. What is known about the temple is that it is made up of 3 massive stone circles. We also know that someone buried it a long time ago. However, we do not know why this was. But there is way more that we don't know about Gobekli Tip, like who built it, and when did they build it, and what was it built to worship. We also have questions about why the site was abandoned, as well as not understanding why it was buried and by whom. This mysterious temple is one of the most curious places on the planet. Number 4. Catalytic. Dating back to between 7 and 9,000 years ago, Catalytic is known to be the oldest city on the planet. It is situated in what we know today as Turkey, and formed a part of a much larger agricultural and city-building ancient civilization. The most curious thing about this ancient city is that it is structured very differently to cities which have been built since then. The first major difference is that there are no roads in Catalytic at all. The next curious thing is the way the houses were built. The dwellings form a kind of hive, the houses being right to each other. In order to get into the houses, it was necessary to climb in through the holes in the roof. The people who built Catalytic are thought to have been prolific farmers who grew all sorts of crops, from almonds to wheat. The fields were situated on the outside of the city, and the farmers used ladders to climb onto the roofs of the houses, where they were then followed airborne pathways to the city walls. These ancient people are known to have hung bull skulls over the entrance of their houses. They are also known to have buried their loved ones underneath the dirt, which formed the floor of their house. We know that these people predate the Iron Age and would probably have been illiterate. However, there is evidence that they formed a civilized society in which art and ritual played an important role. It is believed that the civilization lasted for around 2,000 years and would have had around 10,000 in its population. What we don't know is why they left their amazing city and where they disappeared to. Number 5. The Maya. Most of us have heard of the Mayan people, being the prime example of a lost civilization. The people were dispersed into the small villages throughout the South American jungles, and over time, the vegetation ate up the Mayan cities, roads, and monuments. All was not lost, however, and the tradition and languages of the Mayan people have been preserved. The Mayan society was at its peak through the first millennium. It was during this time that they built their best architecture and created enormous agricultural projects spreading throughout the Yucatan. The Mayans were literate, forming a complicated calendar and using detailed engineering skills in order to construct the terraced farms and pyramids they are known for. People believe that this amazing civilization declined mysteriously from the year 900. However, there is evidence to suggest that war and climate change played a part in the destruction of the Mayan society. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed this video, be sure to hit that like button and subscribe. Like button and